Hey, this is James. Hey, Pockets Garage. I thought I'd start trying to do not a scheduled a daily update, but things that may come of importance that just needs to be jumped on and just mentioned, and not necessarily a typical live stream like my uh, live streams I have on uh, Sundays. So I just wanted to say R.F.K is, and I believe he's been sworn in right now, or has been recently, is now our new Secretary of Health and Human Services. With Tulsi Gabbard, that means we got one big hurdle still to go. Cash Patel. So we get Cash Patel in there. Uh, we're looking pretty good. Saying that, um, also on the good front of things being done, uh, Pam Bondi is, I guess it's a suing or charges, which is civil, I guess, against Kathy Holcomb, Letitia James, and that Mark Schroeder in New York. So with that happening, that's a good thing. Hopefully we'll start seeing people being held accountable for the dumb shit that they've done to this country over the last not just 4 years, but previous to that too. But also, with that being said, I mean, these individuals, they put the illegal aliens over their New York citizens. So they need to be held accountable for that. And, the thing with that is, woke's on the run, but woke ain't dead. And I'm saying that because New York is still New York. I guess a kindergarten student brought home a book, and being a kindergartner, that means your parents have to read the book to you. So gave this book to their mother to read, and the name of the book is called Rainbow Parade, and it's written by Emily Nielsen. Now this is a book that is in kindergarten curriculum in their library. That is what they want them to read or have their parents read to them. The book has illustrations in it, if we can say illustrations of people in bondage gear. Uh, there's like a kind of a hefty figure of a naked female person. I'm assuming female. I don't want to misgender. Uh, Walking in the parade naked. This is a book for a kindergarten student. So saying that, the parents passed this information along to other parents, and they all went to the you know meeting for their school district or whatever it may be. All these, I forget what they're called. Anyways, instead of the the leaders of the education council or whatever you want to call them, instead of them hearing the grievances of the parents, they all got up and left, and the individual got on the mic and said that uh, the parents have disrupted a meeting that was not for them, that it was for uh, the people on the committee, not for the parents. But it's held in it looks like a little hall where they have multiple seats, And the way the tables are set up, it's set up like to be having a meeting in front of an audience, but yet the parents aren't allowed to make any comments about stuff that they have a grievance about, such as that book. Like I said, woke is on the run, but woke is not dead. So with that, I just wanted to say, all these people that are complaining about the Doge thing, they don't realize how close we are on the brink of total bankruptcy in this country. And what will happen is that dollar bill in their pockets will end up being worthless if we are not able to pay on our debts. And if the interest rate gets, or the payment is so high that all we're paying is the interest and nothing else, then our financial systems will collapse. Uh, then China will take over, and we will be beholding to them. They will be the superpower of the world when it comes to finances, and we will be. Uh, those who, I know everybody always knows, y'all know what the Great Depression was. Well, if this was to happen to us, uh, you just, for those who don't know, you just have to read history about how hard it was in the Great Depression for uh, uh, Americans. So this would basically be the Great Depression times 10. What's a lie, Jax? I mean, I just got on here to mention some information. I wasn't really going to interact with anybody in the chat room, but what are you calling a lie? Explain to me. I'll go on while I'm waiting on that. So, anyways, Doge now has, and because they've got the Doge clock added into the national debt clock. So it was like last time I looked, it was like 90 billion, 700 some odd $1,000,000 saved, or as I'd like to say, going back to the U.S. taxpayer. So, Jax, if you pay attention to what I just said, I said if our payments on the interest, because we are borrowing money every year because the government spends more than it takes in a tax revenue. So when the interest payment is so high that we cannot afford to pay it, because right now the interest is higher, is the highest payment that we're paying right now in our budget. So if we get to the point to where we can't afford to pay anything but the interest on money borrowed because the government's spending more than it takes in, that means all social systems will collapse. So yes, that would be the Great Depression times 10. Pay attention to what I'm saying. I realize you may not grasp what I mean. I'm saying this will happen if the government don't get spending under control. I am actually just trying to make an argument for why Doge is necessary and that it needs to happen, and why anybody wants to argue against them trying to hold the government accountable for the money they spend. Well, there's something wrong with you. But anyways, what I'm saying is, if that was to happen, then we would have a serious problem. No, Jax, I've not read all the executive orders. Explain to me which executive order you're talking about, that you want to claim something is detrimental to us compared to all the good things that are happening right now. So explain to me, please. I'm not the smartest person in the room, I guarantee it. So let me know. tell me real quick. Hey, Beverly, how you doing? Beverly, people like Jax is just, they obviously have a person with, or a problem with Donald Trump's personality or whatever. They don't mind people like in the Biden administration, which y'all know Biden was not running this country. It was a bunch of unelected bureaucrats, which they are claiming that Elon Musk is an unelected bureaucrat, basically, that's doing something that they claim is unconstitutional. It is not. You are allowed to audit things. It takes Congress to change things as far as the money being spent, but it, Congress has to go in there and basically strip the budget of USAID, but frivolous things that are being spent within that can be stopped. The budget, the money allocated for that department may still be there via what Congress sets up, but those payments going to uh, illegitimate causes can be stopped. Uh, things already things that the judges and these lower courts are trying to stop some of this stuff. Some of it's already being overturned as we speak, actually. Hi, Steph. So, if you love Trump, Jackson, what are you talking about then? Uh, and I and don't get me wrong, I'm sure there are things in all these executive orders that we may not like or may not understand or what the purpose of it is. Uh, but you cannot be 100% on everything somebody does. Uh, so, but you got to look at, does the good outweigh the bad? And right now, honestly, I will sit here and argue all day long that President Trump's good definitely outweighs the bad of anything that you might want to bring up. And these frivolous, disgusting arguments, and honestly, the Democrats calling for violence in the street, and that America needs to get under control and needs to have censorship put in place. That was actually in that press conference the Dems had the other day. And I was going to play a clip of that this Sunday on my live stream. So that is very, very dangerous comment that they made. But it also, it's they're so frustrated with what's going on because they can't control it, that they're having slips of the tongue of the actual agenda of what they really want to get done in this country, and it doesn't benefit us hardly at all. Period. So it is what it is. Let's see. Uh, yeah, Katie. I mean, we most of us know, and we are in a recession, and it just come out now that Biden, the most honest administration in history, they have now showed that all of their inflation numbers were a lie. And we all knew it was a lie. You get people on CNN and MSNBC were saying the economy's good, no matter how you may feel about it, but the economy's doing better than it ever has. And then come to find out, what was, I think the highest point during this past year was like 23% inflation if you go by actual true numbers. But now they're admitting that they didn't tell the whole truth. So it's crazy. Jax, you're fine. You can say what you want, Jax. It's just that I I will debate you on things that I disagree with you on. You can change my mind. I'm not always right. I don't know anybody who is. So, don't hesitate to say something that you think is true if you believe it. But at least let's have a conversation about it so we can see if we can have a little common ground on something, or you can change my mind, or maybe I can change your mind on something. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. Uh, but always, this is a place where you can say what you want. And I'm not one of those that want to block just because I don't like what you're saying. I want to have a conversation with people. I think it's necessary. I think it's the only way that this country has ever worked in the past is both sides having conversation. And you're on our side. And I say our side. Obviously, it looks like you're a conservative. Um, but we all don't have to. That's the problem with the Democrats. When one person has an opinion about something, for a simple fact, up until recently, because there's a couple that has jumped ranks, the Dems, that opinion will be echoed through each and every one of them. We're not like that. We all have different opinions on stuff, which is a good thing. They used to say that, well, we're in disarray, or we're having infighting because we're not agreeing on certain things. No, it just proves that we're individuals and we see things in a different way sometimes. But it's the big picture that counts. It counts of the overall, the good for the country. That's all I'm saying on that. And like I said, I did not mean to get on here, and I just thought I might start doing these little quick, instead of trying to make a video and uploading it and editing it. And I just figured I'd get on here and do my bumbling ramblings when something exciting happens uh, throughout the week, and then maybe we can have a long form discussion on it Sunday at 7 on my live stream. Uh, Thanks, Jack. That's cool. But if and I put this out there again, you don't have to be on camera, because you can just be mic'd to have an actual verbal conversation with me on Sundays, and we can have a love fest about whatever subject we're talking about, or we can have a debate. Uh, it's all good, and I just trying to get people to participate. So this is the beginning of a little community that I did not expect to have, but we have it, and that's very cool. Ramble on. I do ramble on a lot, John. Trust me, I ramble on a lot, and I get off topic sometimes because I'll think of something while I'm talking about whatever topic, and then it'll bring to mind something else that actually has something to do with it, but not really, but it does. Because I'm one of those people, I like to connect the dots. I say this all the time. Uh, One thing by itself may not mean much. Even two things by itself may not mean much. But when you start seeing these little things pop up all over the place where there's so many dots to connect, it's looking like chicken pox, then that's time to have a conversation about what that is and see if we can see what's really going on. Because that's all it's about, is we like to talk about what's really going on. Yeah, Charles, I'm glad he's not a politician too. But I'm also glad that he learned something from the first time he was in there. And I hate to say it, and I've heard this said a few times recently. Maybe it took that 4 years when he lost in 2020 to have him focus on the things that, if he was to get back in office, what he knew he needed to get done. And as far as I can tell, um, uh, he's as focused and laser sharp. I will say he's as focused and as laser sharp as he ever has been, and that's the truth. That's not just a lie like the Biden administration tried to say about Biden, because we can never see anything that Biden was claiming on he was doing. We never really seen that uh, benefit anybody in a positive way. We've seen a lot of negative stuff, but no no positive stuff. And if there was, explain to me what it was. And if I overlooked it, I'll be more than happy to give him credit for it. But I don't know of any. Go back to okay, why we need to save money. We need to. Our debt is like a runaway train, and we're coming really close to the end of the tracks. To all there is a big old pile of rocks, and when we hit it, it's gonna be horrible. So the more, and I hate the argument where they talk about, well, the like the USAID only has a really small portion of the total U.S. budget, but you've already seen the amount of money that they've wasted on dumb stuff. I don't care if it is a small amount. You have to start somewhere, and this is only in the first 2 weeks. He's got I think it's a year and a half that Trump said this is a temporary department. This is temporary. This is not going to be a forever thing. So this is like a bunch of IRS auditors going in to your company, and you have to open the books to everything. And then when they're done, you either did good or did bad in your audit, and you either don't owe them anything or you got to pay a lot of money. That's how that works in an audit. Here, if the audit turns out to be bad, which right now it is, uh, for every billions of dollars that they save, and billions, guys, billions of dollars, billions. What good would if what good if that money was been spent right here in the United States? All the good that could have been done with that money. If we already are in debt because of it, that money has already been borrowed against our future to be spent now. Why would anybody argue the fact that they made a big deal about, okay, so he got it wrong on the $50 million for uh, condoms to Gaza. It was actually another country. Uh, does it really matter where that money went? And they said it was for help with spreading of AIDS prevention. So we're still fighting that deal through the world. But honestly, $50 million to give another country a bunch of condoms, and I'm sure education in their clinics about the spread. And I cannot imagine any individual in the world, as long as we've been dealing with AIDS, that doesn't know what it takes not to spread AIDS. So it's just ridiculous. And the $59 million given to all these luxury hotels, I mean, that money was spent here in the United States, but it wasn't spent on a U.S. citizen. Um, so it's kind of like it's still money being spent in foreign situations uh, that could have been helping out here. What's this about? Let's see here. Immigration in every nation would have stayed in place. It would have been easier for several countries to send aid. Truly, uh, I understand. Okay, so Beverly, the thing about the Haitian deal is, if people have been using the conditions in Haiti for several years. I mean, several years. I mean, going back to 2010, I mentioned this in my live stream the other day. The money that they uh, sent to Haiti to build a port and a power plant after the earthquake that happened there. Well, these things never got done, but the money disappeared. So there's always been money supposedly dumped into Haiti to help them. And as much money has been spent in Haiti, as small as that country is, Haiti should look like a resort, like in, at the southern uh, port of like Italy or something. It should be high end. As much money was spent in Haiti, it should be one of the like the destinations of destinations to go to for a vacation spot. Instead, it's poorer than it ever has been, and it is as corrupt as it ever has been. And let's be honest, all these billions of dollars spent to help the Haitians in their country and here hasn't improved their lives at all, other than the ones that are here that are, you know, some do work. I can't say that they don't, but they've been exploited on that part too. So they've been exploited here for cheap labor, poor living conditions, and those who are not working use our social services to where it makes it harder for to have money left over for the stuff that it was originally allocated for. But that's a topic by itself. It would take a long form topic that we can talk about on Sundays. I did not mean to get on here and have a long drawn out live stream. I just wanted to get on here and go woohoo, R.F.K. And then Tulsi. Like I said, we got Cash Patel to get in there, and Pam Bondi's already doing what she's supposed to be doing. Pete Hegseth is over there uh, doing what he's supposed to be doing. Marco Rubio's doing what he's supposed to be doing. All these people are doing the jobs and are doing what the president promised the American people that he would get done and work on and do when he got in office. And he's put the people in positions that will help him complete and fulfill these promises to us. What's up, Joe? Yeah, but you're right. Uh, but like the whole Haitian thing, and reason why I say it's a whole topic by itself is because obviously I live in Springfield, Ohio, and the Haitian thing is a big deal here. And a while back, a lot of people used to ask me because all the car crashes here. They first asked me where'd they get all their cars. Well, I found out they were getting cars to off the back lot through uh, Jeff Weiler was like taking trade-ins and auction cars and selling them to the Haitians at a premium price, I might add. But then I found out where the money came from, because everybody asks where the money comes from. If, a lot of them's not working. Even those that work, how they coming. They drive some very nice cars, guys. Uh, so this NGO called Administration of Children and Families, and the money comes from our government, but it's ran through this organization. Is an individual Haitian that is here under temporary protective status or refugee status gets a one-time $3,000 voucher to purchase a car or help get them into a house or something like that. Um, yeah, Rusty, you're absolutely right about that. And like I said, it's every story fingers out, or branches out to another story, that with all, like I said, you connect the dots. There's a reason why Haiti is a dumping ground for a lot of money, because they don't track it, as it's already proof with those. They don't track a lot of stuff when they write these checks and send these checks out to whoever they go to. They do no follow up. So, and then a place like Haiti, the children, it's easy to traffic the children to a place like that. But getting back to it, what I said, I'm getting off base here. Sorry. Um, so this organization, for per individual, it's per individual now. So that means, like, if there's a husband and wife or whatever. Now they did say if it's a family, it maxes out at $6,000. But let's say they're not husband and wife and they don't have any kids. Each individual, let's say there's, like, they've been 10, 12, 15 people in a house. Each one of them gets a one-time voucher for $3,000 to use for whatever they deem fit. This is where all the money comes from. That's buying all these nice cars for the Haitians that drive around this town where I live. So anyway, that's like another part of the story here. It answers questions a lot of people had: where they get them, how they paying for them. So, and there may be other forms of how they get money in that kind of situation. I just don't know it yet. But I find out stuff all the time, and I try to keep everybody informed. Haiti is where they killed all the white. Cigar, Haiti is where there's a lot of bad stuff that's been done in Haiti. And when people try to debunk they say it's been debunked, the eating the cats. I don't know about the dogs, but the eating of the cats. Uh, I don't understand how they say it's been debunked, but if you ask somebody how they debunked it, they don't have no answer other than they don't have no proof of catching anybody in the act. But they have caught them in the act. It's just the wrong people has caught them in the act and didn't document it correctly or record it correctly or whatever you want to call it. Um, yeah, the reciprocal tariffs, I believe, we should have always. I'm sorry, I'm reading the chat. Sorry, but Bev, you're talking about the reciprocal tariffs. Why did we never have these type of tariffs before? And this has been going back, and people, they need to understand this. It's like President Trump said the other day. We have all these foreign companies that sell their products in our country, and I'll use cars. How many foreign type cars? You can buy just about any foreign type car in this country, but there's no tariffs against it. But yet the tariffs are so high that you don't see American cars like in Europe. You don't see American cars. You don't see American cars even in Japan. You don't see American cars. You don't see them in China. It's because the cost of our products over there, because of the tariffs they put on us, is so high that the average person over there can't afford to buy an American car. And our cars are not built any better than theirs. It's just that uh, they can be sent here and pay no tariffs and be sold. And we like a variety of cars in this country. So, the consumer doesn't look at what it's doing to our overall financial strength. This is about the best way I can put that. Um, yeah, Betty, that's America last. That's what it has been for several years now. America last. Yeah, Joe, I wouldn't want to live in Haiti either. But as far as like I said, the monkey and the cat thing, um, when you see documentary after documentary about this very thing, that this very thing, that the eating of the animals, uh, and you see, I know I've seen three different documentaries that were made before all this ever started. But yet they try to tell you that that doesn't happen. They eat people over there. They In certain parts of Haiti, you can purchase cat out of the grocery store. This is not a rumor. This is fact. Uh, so for people like Kamala Harris saying that, you know, even if that happened there, these people that's not happening here. These are all good people. How in the hell do you know? Uh, when you have almost 500,000 of them sent in here under this temporary protected status and refugee status, how do you know? You can't tell me that if that is a practice, because it's like a religious practice over there, that if it's practiced there, why would they stop doing that just because they live here now? I mean, common sense would tell you that the chances are it is happening. Whether you have actual proof here or not, you just have to go by the odds. What are the odds? The odds are pretty damn good. So, yeah, a $10,000. Oh yeah, yeah. I seen also certain vehicles that they are, and like China has a vehicle that sells for $2,999. But I guess they're attached to certain corporations that uh, are under investigation or has broken some kind of law that keeps them from being their products being sold in this country. So it's not always because we don't want them. It's just, and there's certain things. Let's be honest. The big three probably has a lot of pull to not allow certain things. If it's not in the best interest of our politicians, they will do things for the big three to make sure that they're still making enough money selling their products. And something like that $10,000 truck would definitely hurt the market on the big three. Let's be honest. So it's not about what's good for us; it's about what's good for the politicians. Buy $1 or $2 of vitamin B made in China, and they can ship it here for free in Scammyville. Yeah, Rusty. Everybody is one of my most knowledgeable people that uh, helps me get informed a lot. I can tell you that, and clicks the light bulb off in my head a lot of times, and he'll send me a message on something I never thought of that. That's something I didn't think of. So he helps me be look a little smarter than I really am. So, or a little bit more informed than I used to be. People like Rusty helps me out. Yes, they did. The Tucker car got destroyed because of the big three. That's what I'm saying. When it's something that is detrimental to a certain thing like that, like the Tucker, uh, they will lobby and they will do things to keep stuff from, should being put in the shed a little light of day on it. Um, but still, like I said, you go back to, like I said, foreign cars. The Mercedes, Jaguar, Ferrari, all those kind of cars are sold here. Uh, but ask somebody over in Europe, over in UK or someplace, what it would cost to own a brand new Corvette over there. And it's not so much because the Corvette is that much of a supercar, which it kind of is, but still compared to a Ferrari, uh, big difference in price. Unless you buy a Corvette over there, and it's not because they're getting a better car from us and it costs that much. It's just it costs that much in tariffs to have a car brought over there, shipped over there. So you don't see Corvettes running around Europe. You see a lot of, and let's think about this too. You ever hear about any Teslas being sold over in Europe or any place? That's an electric vehicle. You would think that as green as Europe is and how much their gasoline costs over there, they would want a high end quality electric vehicle. Uh, so I don't know. Like it has to have, to me, it has to be something to do with what the country wants to charge our companies to have their products sold over there. So going back to reciprocal tariffs should have always been in place. And everybody's acting like it's a bad thing. How can that be a bad thing? If you charge us zero tariffs to sell our products in your country, then we charge you zero tariffs to sell your product here. Instead of we charge you nothing or a very low tariff and you charge us 50% tariffs. Or, I'm that's just throwing that number out there. I'm sure the number fluctuates depending on what the products are, but yeah, it's just bad. America last. What was said earlier, America last. But now we got an administration in there that's honestly, um, everybody wants to act like people like Elon Musk is evil because he's rich. He's doing this to get personal information because tech information is where all the money is in anymore. When they try to take something that's to me is a noble effort to reverse our debt or to slow our debt down to where it is we can get a handle and get our debt paid down and not keep paying on it. And it's this is almost like those payday loans. You get a payday loan and the interest on it is a lot of places have outlawed the payday loans because of this, but they charge you so much interest on it. And then, but now when you pay that back, Now, before your next paycheck, because you didn't have the money because you paid so much in interest on that last loan, that there's more bills that you're not getting paid. You have to do another payday loan and a little bit larger amount because you are further in the hole because of paying the interest back on that payday loan. And then you get that done. And then what happens next time? You have to get another payday loan, and it's a little bit more than the last one. Well, that's what our debt is doing right now. We cannot afford to pay our bills, and the interest on the loans that we are taking out to pay our bills is now the next time it comes time for our next payday, which is basically their budget. If they ever want to say they're trying to balance a budget every year, they're not. But anyways, by the time and that's, to me, that's their next payday, is when they try to reset the budget for the following year. That last loan that they took out to pay the bills, and with all that interest, they now have to borrow more the following budget year because they need more to help offset the interest that they're paying on the last deal. So, eh, what Doge is doing is a necessity. A necessity. And it is noble. They can fight it all they want. And I say this and about the people who come out and try to defend all the stuff that happens around our town here for the Haitians. You can always look and see why these people are so aggressively trying to defend this stuff. It's usually because their paychecks are attached to them being here. So all these politicians who are not wanting Doge to do their job, it's because of all this money that they've been making hand over fist uh, for every year they're in office. Uh, their their paychecks are tied to these, I call them slush funds. These people who unelected bureaucrats who have the power to allocate money to whatever cause, as long as they have it in their budget, they're allowed to spend it, and nobody does any oversight on it. Because honestly, I never actually heard of USAID until this started happening. Because I never heard of nobody being brought in to do oversight hearings about how their expenditures of their department, because you see it all the time, and like Homeland Security, Homeland Defense, whatever you want to call it, uh, you know, the Department of Foreign Affairs, all these departments, they have oversight. They always in there being uh, called in there. Even the FBI, director of FBI, they're all called in there to justify the amount of money they want allocated to their departments. I just never heard of USAID having to do that. What is this? It's doubtful he's interested in cutting federal government costs for his own personal monetary benefit. Doesn't make sense. Are you saying because that's their argument, it doesn't make sense? Are you saying that you think he's doing that? I guess I'm trying to read that correctly. Yeah, guys, I'm saying you guys saying you don't use credit anymore, and that's good that you're in that position. But it's these young families, um, and let's be honest, the reason why we have so many people in this country that lives paycheck to paycheck is because uh, they don't do what's necessary to be well off. So, which is nothing wrong with that. Not everybody has that mindset or, or personality trait to uh, pinch every nickel and invest every dime uh, to put them in a good position later in life. All they don't see the big picture. All they see is the picture in front of them, which is getting by, and they don't ever think about just anything more than getting by. They think about everybody. I always try to make more money by the hour. Work. I've always worked for somebody else. I'm not no person who has a high intelligence and finances that put me super well off. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm on disability, but I'm not in the poorhouse either. But there are people who work every week and can't get ahead, and they do stupid things like borrow money, thinking that okay, I just need to get over this hurdle. Whether it's hurdle after hurdle after hurdle in life, it's always people are stuck in their situations and they don't have the mindset to know how to get out of it. So, uh, a large portion of America is exactly like that. So, for those who can say that, I don't owe anybody anything and I've got this and I've got those investments or whatever, that's a good thing. But most of America is not like that. Adam's thinking he's trying to make money himself, cutting. Yeah, uh, you're right. That's what I thought you were trying to say there, Frankenstein. It's their argument about what he's trying to do don't make common sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. Uh, it's not like he needs it, and his people they don't people of high intelligence don't think like the rest of us. It's a There's so many of your tech bros, as they called them, uh, that lived in Silicon Valley that were millionaires. And they started out, they got there straight out of college and they'd like rent a house with all their friends they went to school with. And they worked at these tech companies. And they're so smart and the things that they developed started making them tons of money. But they were still driving the same car they owned when they were going to school, and they were still living sharing rent in a house in Silicon Valley. I've seen this story a few times from a few people. So, and there was a house of three guys living in a house. This one story, uh, all three of them a millionaire many times over, and still driving old cars that they had in college and living together, sharing rent because they don't do it for the money. They do it for whatever makes them click in their head that something they gotta do. They gotta figure out. They they want to get something to the next level, and so that's the kind of people that Elon Musk is having in his little Doge thing, looking at all this stuff. So for them to dismiss these kids, as they called them, because the one kid had a kind of a screwed up handle on the internet. I forget something balls. I can't remember what it was. I mean, yeah, he's a kid, but his brain power. All them kids, I think, are six of them. All six probably have more brain power than the entire Congress put together. So I am comfortable with what Elon Musk and his group of people are doing. I am 150% comfortable with it. And I think it's not only a breath of fresh air, I think it is an absolute necessity before our train comes to the end of the line and crashes into a pile of rocks. So, saying that, guys, I only wanted to jump on here to say, way to go, R.F.K. Another one down. Tulsi was earlier this week. Now we get Cash in there. And I say they're all helping President Trump fulfill these promises. And in lightning speed, too. That's what's throwing the Dems off. They can't keep up with it. The news, it seems like every 4 hours there's something new popping up. I mean, that's kind of exciting as long as it's good news. And now, another thing before I jump off here, now Trump is now officially involved personally with President Putin and President Zelensky. And now I believe Marco Rubio is going over there, and I can't remember somebody else is going over there to do the negotiations to get this ball rolling to get that war stopped. And I've seen where Hamas, I guess, is hinting that they will agree to release all of the other hostages by Saturday. I don't know if y'all saw that news or not. Uh, we'll see how that goes. And let's see, studies showing Head Start helping children 4 or 5 kindergarten. Just wanted, yeah, yep, you're right. Deborah, that's a good point. That is a good point. Yeah, somebody calls themselves Whoopi and then wants to talk about some genius teenager who's got the word balls in his online handle. You're dreading Saturday? Why are you dreading Saturday there, Frankenstein? Just before I get off here, just what are you dreading? Yeah, Beverly, I was just talking about that. Uh, Pam Bondi's going after Kathy Holcomb, Letitia James, and Mark Schroeder over the immigration policies that they do in New York. And then now they're putting together another list of the people that is impeding on Tom Holman's deal with ICE. So there's probably going to be some actual legal charges against some of these politicians who are blatantly interfering with the ICE deal. So, yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah, newness to cut off. But like I said, I seen a story earlier today to where they are hinting that they will release the rest of the hostages by Saturday. Honestly, I think they were trickling the hostages out of there because everybody's been talking about the condition of these people, and they're they're were being force fed about a week before they released each hostage. They're being force fed because they've been starving them, and I think they've been trickling them out because they wanted to put out the people who are in the best physical shape back to in the negotiations to release them, because I have a feeling some of the remaining hostages probably don't look very good. They've probably been beaten. If they're females, some of them's probably been raped, I'm sure. They've been starved to death, all kinds of things. So I think when we get them, uh, we're going to be a little bit, uh, I'm going to be, I expect it, but it's still going to break my heart. Remember that one kid that, like in North Korea, he was in North Korea as a hostage, and when he come back, he had brain damage and he died. I'm looking for some of them hostages probably aren't alive, and they're saying that they are, but they're going to have to at least return the bodies. And if they do that, because then they'll say they are fulfilling the negotiation of the ceasefire, no matter what the condition of the hostages are. I there's a better chance that they're going to be released by Saturday than there is not a chance. So we'll see. Well, Beverly, it's whatever they negotiated for the amount of the returns that Israel is returning to Hamas, which is in large numbers actually compared to the numbers of hostages that they have that they are releasing. Which I don't know the full list of the actual number, but like I said, they've been trickling out what 2 and 4 at a time. So I imagine there's probably 20 to 40 more, if I'm not mistaken, because a lot of them's been hostage since that October attack. So you can only imagine the condition a lot of them are in. Like I said, they were force feeding these last ones to try to get weight back on them, so they didn't look. Because I know they know that if the hostages come back in serious poor physical condition, that even though they get returned, Trump's going to have a problem with it. And I think they fear that, to be honest with you. So they're trying to do what they can to subside that a little bit. I will, Beverly. That's. I hope you get some positive answers out of the doctor visit. So yes, I will. Anyways, you may see me again tomorrow. It depends on if something exciting happens or not. Like I said, I plan on jumping on here instead of making videos and doing my little rants. But I figured a quick jump on, jump off. And for those who haven't seen it live like you're seeing it, at least they'll have the recording of this to watch. Now, honestly, this I've been on here an hour. I was only expecting like a 10 or 15-minute video, but I'm glad that you guys always engage. You know, you guys are great. It's people like y'all in the chat that help make this world a better place. So, saying that, I'm going to end it here. Those don't know me, my name's James. I have a YouTube channel called Empty Pockets Garage, and I have another YouTube channel that's all political that's called Jimmy Pockets. But you'll catch me on both channels simultaneously. Live stream 7 p.m. Sunday nights Eastern time. Come in, hang out, send me an email. I'll send you a link. I can invite you in. You can be on camera, not on camera. We'll have a verbal conversation together. Saying that, guys, till something new happens, this is James. Y'all have a good day. I'm out of here.